Okay, today we're going to make these gorgeous little trays, little serving trays. These are 1/12 scale. My computer's making funny noises at me there. I don't know what's going on. They're 1/12 scale, and I'm just going to show you my little bowl of goodies here, just to show you the scale. That's a little plate, and that's a little cup. It's just to give you an idea. Sometimes when you're looking at tutorials, you can't kind of make out what actual size they are. They're hard to judge because people's hands are different sizes and what have you. You can resize these. I know I'm always saying it. I'm just going to be very thorough in this video. I'm going to glue everything down from beginning to end. I'll always refer you back. There's about 3 videos. This is the 3rd one I am going to refer you back to on the smaller pieces, so you get used to the idea and the concept of compressing card to make furniture. Now this is made, you get 2 of these from 1 A4 sheet of 300 GSM cardstock. I always use 300 GSM cardstock just for the tutorials. When you get used to the idea of this and you follow me along a little bit, you will be able to use your recycled materials, cereal boxes, you know, any kind of packaging that your machine will cut, paper or card obviously. But follow along with me. Cut your first one in this layout. You will get 2 of these. You can resize them. Just make sure you group everything together in your program. Bring them down or bring them up. If you bring them down, you might get away with just 2 or 3, maybe 3 pieces, maybe 2, depending on how small you go, as small as your machine will cut. If you go larger, you'll probably have to add a few pieces. This comes with it. I put this in. It's a lovely sheet of pattern paper. This pattern paper you will get in your file. It will be both A4 and 12 by 12, just to make life easy if you're lucky enough to have a printer that will print 12 by 12. And this is your template guide. For this one, use it, print it off and use it, and then store all your template guides away in a folder, because more times than many you will have to refer back to them. I designed these files, especially on the larger files. This one here, here's an example. You get into lots more and it can get confusing. I often have to refer back to my template guides, and that's me who designed them. I forget at times, you know, I get confused and sometimes I make a mess, so I'd rather just err on the side of caution. You get your pieces and count them out. These take 5 layers. I've given you the option. I don't like chunky furniture. These are made with 4 layers. So I'm going to make it with 4 layers today. You can play around. I'm trying to see if I got one. That's 5 layers, that one there. You can see it's just a slight difference. But when that's painted, it gets thicker again. So I think the thinner furniture, the thinner is more to scale, if that doesn't confuse you. But you do what you like. You do you suit yourself. You can use your 5. I'm just doing 4 today, I think. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you know what? I'll do the 5. I'll do the 5. Normally I just do the 4, because that's the width, that's the kind of depth I like. Not in all furniture now, just this particular file. Put them in their respective places. Every single file I have, no matter how large or small, you won't go wrong. You will easily find where you have to put your pieces, because they all fit perfectly. If it was a tiny little piece, you'll know exactly where to put it. Yeah, I hope I didn't confuse you there with your 4 and your 5. I normally would just take one off. It depends. I just did the 5 because I wanted people to have their own options. You know, different folks have different strokes. And also I've cut out a sheet out of the backing paper, so I can put a nice little lining in it. It's just a nice little option for you. you could use this as well to coordinate, maybe make lampshades, or, you know, the world's your oyster. The world is your oyster. We'll get on with this so the video doesn't go on for too long, because I am doing from start to finish. A little hint, I ran out of my lovely tacky glue and I started using this cheaper glue. It works, it's great, it glues down things great, but my problem was when it came to doing tutorials, it wasn't tacky enough and it wasn't putting things together quick enough for me, and it was causing a little bit of havoc, and it made the video tutorial look very unprofessional and, you know, too slow and too finicky. But a lovely lady gave me a tip: pour the glue, the cheap glue, into a tub and leave it open for a few hours, and the glue will go gloopy. And my goodness, I'll show you this, look. It's as tacky and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So a great tip from that lovely lady. Now that's for putting things together. I'm going to use smooth glue for gluing down. I'm trying to keep this out where you can even see it a little bit. Whatever piece you're working on, get into this habit. Take it off and put it beside you until it's all glued down. That way you will not make a mistake and you will not go wrong. I start from the center and work my way out, and make sure you get your edges. Just put enough glue on that it'll stick and not too much. I know that especially on the larger pieces, the instinct will be lash the loads and loads of glue on. But what will happen is the glue will soak into the card and your card will stretch, and you might misshape your furniture. It might not go together properly. So less is best. I'm pressing down really hard. Get my edges. If I put too much glue on, I can just wipe it off. Oh, incidentally, I have my damp terry towel here for wiping my fingers. You don't have to use your fingers to glue. It's whatever suits you. I prefer it this way. I can feel exactly what's going on, and I know it's a little bit messier, but it doesn't bother me. I know it might bother some of you. It might be your worst. Look, I put too much glue on there. Can you see? It slid out of place. It's not a problem. Just put it back into place. Turn it over the opposite side. Work from the opposite side first. I'm applying lots of pressure, and that will help rectify the problem. Now I'm going to turn it back over and do the opposite side, the drier side. Getting your edges. Everyone slags me over that. Get your edges. Edges are actually the most important part of this gluing down. It's important, vitally important they stay together, or you'll just probably make a mess of your piece that you're after working so hard on. I'm applying lots of pressure. Turn it over, and now we're ready for the next one, the last one on this one. Let's see how fast we can get this done. Oh, I have to remember, this is my spot. I have to remember to stay in my spot. I'm sorry now if I slip off from time to time. I'll do my best not to. Now I am compressing down good and hard. Turn it over. Now it's time to just have a look and examine and see is there any glue. This is the time you get your glue off with it. Just a little damp cloth. If there's anything astray, put it back in its respective place and get your next piece and put it beside you. And it's the same principle for everything. Just a slathering of glue, enough to stick. Don't oversaturate it. I am just gently trying my best to get it as even as possible before I go for the kill. I can press it down. Whoops. To wipe my two fingers down. My poor hands, war wounds. I'm in the process of preparing my bedroom. I've recently moved house and it's a fixer-upper. So I'm preparing my bedroom, just clearing things out and pulling things down that shouldn't be, that I don't want there. Like there was an old horrible little wardrobe and I wanted to pull it down, but I hit myself with hammers. Oh, I'm full of scars. I'm scarred. And there's nothing I can do about it. Sure, look, it'll be all worth it in the end. But I know I definitely must have the worst hands on the internet for doing tutorials. I wonder, is there an ugly hands competition on YouTube? I would definitely win it, hands down. As my granny would say, they're hard working hands there. Be proud of them. Yeah, I think we're on our last one already. A light slathering of glue. Wipe my hands, my fingers. I'm very gently putting it into position. We're trying to get these as even as possible. I think we're okay on the glue. We didn't get any on it. Put it back in its respective position. And take the next one. Now I know this is a simple file, but I cannot express enough, get used to using those template files. Plus, it's a big help. When I'm putting this together, I'm going to tell you the name of the piece I have in my hand and what piece I'm gluing to what. And that's why where the template guide comes in. You can follow along because you'll know exactly by the name of the piece what I'm doing and where I'm putting it. Yeah, sometimes I forget to talk. I really do, and truly, I've said this many a time in my tutorials, I find this so therapeutic. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, watching with the telly on, I just get lost. I'm sure a lot of you who craft can relate to that. It's lovely, it's therapy. It's my therapy, and it's good. I find now, especially between selling and buying a house, oh my goodness, I think anyone who has been through it knows exactly. It's so stressful. And I find it just, I can switch off. Not only with furniture making, I paint watercolours. I'm a graphics designer and I also paint watercolours. And there's nothing better, there's no better therapy than me to even design and make a piece of furniture, or just to sit and paint for a few hours, paint a picture. I don't need to pay a fortune for a therapist. That's my therapy. These are the tray ends. Now, see the way there's a little aperture there, little kind of a hole. I'm going to dab around it so I don't get glue caught in between as best I can. And I'm still getting my edges. Move that over a little bit. And you know what, I'm almost forgetting to put the paper on. We'll do that now in a second, as soon as I finish this last one. I'm getting my edges. I know, get your edges. You'll have nightmares about me. If you're going to watch a few of my tutorials, you're going to say, get your edges in your sleep. And if you do, that means it's working. I'm getting the point across. Oh, Lordy God. Yeah. I have family friends and slagging the life out of me. Did you get your edges? My catchphrase, get your edges. But sure, look, it could be worse, couldn't it? That was it. I put a bit much glue on, so I just put it over the other side, and now I'm going to do the same on here. I'm going to turn it over. I mean, you get the gist. It's actually very simple. It really is. All you can do is try your best to get them as even and as neat as you can. And if you don't, we'll sort all that out in the end, when we're just after we put it together. We can get rid of any unevenness or any grooves. We'll get rid of them, don't worry. I mean, I can see already I have grooves in this, and it's fine. They will be gone, they will be disappeared. Last one. We're almost there. I don't know how many minutes it's gone. I'm interested to see how long that took. Now I would, make one first, cut off one lot first. If you're interested, if you want to sell them on Etsy, eBay or whatever, or at craft fairs, brilliant, do so. It'd be lovely to have a few bob to fund your hobby. But I will say, you cut off 3 or 4 cuts. You know, that's up to 8 trays, you know, and you have them done in no time. You spend one evening to glue them all down, then leave them to the next day to dry, or the day after. The longer you leave them, the better. And the rest then is plain sailing. It's just painting them up and doing them up whatever way you want to. These are so easy and so fast. All my files are easy, even the larger pieces, beds, dressing tables. They're very easy to put together. A little bit time consuming if the bigger pieces, if they have lots of little pieces like drawers and things. I will say that they can be a little bit time consuming. But all miniature, you know, if you're making any kind of miniature furniture, it's time consuming. Using this process and using these files, it's going to save you a fortune. It's going to save you an absolute fortune. I'm just nudging it into shape there. I'm going to turn it over because I think I put a little bit too much glue. I got too excited there because I was on the last one. Now I see I have if you can see there, I have a glob of glue in the corner there of the recess. So I'm just going to, it's actually an aperture, not a recess. Now that's taken care of. Now when you're doing these, if you know the likes of this, take the extra time and effort to check it, and if there's anything clogged in there, take it out before it dries, and it just will help to make everything look brilliant when you're painting them up after you paint them and that. I'm just going to look for, oh no, hold on, we have to put the paper on, don't we? I was nearly forgetting. Again, so I'm just putting the very light slathering of glue on. This paper is just going to stick to it. Very gently taking the paper, and I'm going to very gently slide it into position. Cute little daisy flowers on the side. You don't have to put paper, you know, this, I'm just giving you a little option. I like to throw extra little bits in with my files so you can experiment. On my website there are tons and tons, hundreds literally, of backing papers. I don't have them as miniature because to be honest with you, you're tying yourself down buying miniature wallpaper, and I don't mean to discredit anybody or take any business. I'm really trying not to. For me personally, I'd rather just resize it myself to the size I want, because sometimes the print is too small. You're at nothing because you can't even see what it is, you know. I know there's purists out there who really want everything, every detail 1/12 scale. But sometimes it's okay to make an allowance, especially for wallpaper. Go a tiny bit larger if that's what you want, so you can see the pattern properly. Just a tiny bit. Not, you know, you don't have to go mad. Once it looks like it fits with the room and the scale, it's fine. Too many of these. Actually, what's the one sheet of these? I don't know. I was trying to figure out. I'll add up how many trays you'll get if you want to do a few the same. I'll add it up now. Let me see. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll get 10. If you cut out the back, if you cut out one layout with the backing paper, you will be able to get 10 trays out of it. Now, I was thinking as well, what would be lovely if you used your paints, watercolour, maybe not so much, acrylic paints or your gouache paints, and hand draw some little roses, or, you know, some little floral designs would be lovely on them. Would be actually very sweet. Just got to move it out of the way. Yeah, we're going to put all your parts out, and we're going to lay a heavy book and leave them to dry for a couple of hours. I know this is the impatient part. Definitely work on a few of them at the same time. You have 2 from 1 cut, but leave them alone for about 2, maybe 3 hours, depending on your climate. If it's scorching hot, lovely American and Spanish sunshine and nice dry weather, a couple of hours will do. But here in Ireland, I would say 3 hours. It's summer here and it's lashing rain. What else is new? But I'll be back. I'm going to leave them to dry off. I don't have any with the patterns made up, so I'll leave them to dry off and I will be back to you. Now these are nice and dry now. They're not pure bone dry. It's been, I think, about 2 hours 15 minutes. In that length of time I unloaded the dishwasher and got the dinner on. and played with the puppies. Now yeah, all it's left to do is put them back onto their respective places. Just get used to doing this. I know this is a very simple one, but just get into the habit of doing this. This is why I'm doing this video from start to finish, making up the piece. Just to give you the gist, because when I move on to bigger pieces, I won't be doing any gluing down. I'll just be referring people back to 2 or 3 different videos, because I don't really want people to get bored out of their heads looking at me saying the same thing over and over again. So get them on. Look, they will fit. They will always fit. You will never go wrong. Now I'm going to grab the base and the 2 ends, the tray ends. I'm going to use my gloopy glue. What I'm going to do is go to the edge, put glue on the very edge of both sides. I think you know already how to stick these down. It's just for the tutorial and for you to get used to the way I do things. I'm going to nudge that up. Obviously the paper will go to the inside if you decide to use paper. I'm going to nudge that up there. The same on the opposite side. I always have a problem with this hand when I'm trying to, obviously it's because I'm right-handed. Just nudge it up, press Press down. I'm going to move it and make sure there's no glue underneath so it doesn't stick on me. Let's leave that to settle for a few minutes, a few seconds anyway. Just making sure there's no glue on the back. Try your best to keep it as clean as you can, as glue free as you can before they're bone dry. And it will help you then when you're painting, because too much glue can be a curse. You'll be left with a few little lumps and bumps. I mean, even this one, I don't know if you can see it. I'll hold it and kind of move. There's a few little lumps and bumps where I left glue. But it's not an issue. There's no one going to notice that. You can actually see that easier on the camera when it focuses than you can with the naked eye. But with my naked eyes anyway, I'm half blind. But you get the idea anyway. Now I'm going to turn these around. This around here. We want to put these sides on. And the paper goes to the inside. So I am going to just put a dab of my gloopy glue on the very inside edge, because that will be hitting that edge there. On the three sides. I'm going sort of generous with the glue. Don't do overkill, because you'll leave yourself with an awful lot of mess to clean up. A bit there. And I'm going to just nudge it up against there. I'm going to leave it there until I do the other side. Oh, stay there. Don't move on me. Now, can you imagine what it's been like using the glue without it being tacky? A nightmare. I was making the project look like they were nearly impossible to put together. It was just the glue not sticking quick enough. I'm going to gently kind of move that around. I'm actually going to move it around and use my right hand because this is the side that works for me. Now we're going to manipulate and make sure everything is matching up, and it is. Press down. I'm going to lift it up very gently and get all the glue off. That could do going up a little bit more. Yeah. I have a bit of a paintbrush here. I'm going to just take the glue off the inside. I hope I haven't gone off camera. Well, that's looking good to me. Now I've just knocked it out of shape. Yep. These lines are off-putting. So sometimes I look at the camera after, I look at my tutorial afterwards. I always check it thoroughly before I put it up onto YouTube. But sometimes when you have it at an angle, these lines make this look as if it's off, but it's not. It's a bit of an optical illusion. Now I'm going to examine very gently the bottom with a little bit of glue on there. And I need to even that up. Press down, press in. Now if you let that to settle for a little while longer, you'll be able to play around with it a bit more because the glue will be extremely tacky. Now I need to press down here. I'm putting pressure on the bottom of the tray just to make sure all this is level and flush. Now all that's left to do now is I'll have to explain this. Please do not let this put you off. Don't switch off after I tell you this. Now hold it up there. Now can you see the grooves where the paper was compressed together? Please let this focus. Sometimes it focuses and sometimes it doesn't. Maybe make sure I'm in the right place. This is where it's compressed. We're going to get rid of that now and no one will ever know that it's compressed card. I'll show you this. You see, there's not a sign, not a smidge. No one will ever know. Looks like wood, feels like wood. what we're going to do is, I have to pour out I need some fresh glue. The gloopy glue won't work for this part. My gloopy glue is for putting the pieces together, really. That's all I really use it for. Now I am going to get into the right position. I am going to blob the glue onto those edges. Don't be afraid of it. Blob it on. You want to dome the glue. You want it raised as high as it will allow without dripping off. Don't worry about it because you can clean up little bits afterwards. I'm going very gentle with this because this is still wet. Just blob it on. I hope you can see what I'm doing. This goes for any pieces of furniture that you make using this process. It works fantastic. Oh, look at me. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I thought that was going to be a holy mess. Now I'm blobbing it on. I'm not afraid of it. Don't worry about it. You want it to be raised up really high. This glue dries flat and it fills in those grooves. No matter what size the furniture file, this process it works perfectly. And I use this process on every single thing I make. Now some things are more complicated because there's a lot more parts and you might have to do this at different stages. Maybe do the top and let it dry and do the edges. But it's just so worth it. And I'm going to examine that and see does anything need to be wiped off. We're all good to go. I'll just put this fella back into its place. I knocked him out. Give it a little squish in. Now all that's left to do is to leave that to dry. Again, depending on where you are in the world, how your heat, your humidity, an hour and a half here anyway. Where you are, it could be dry in 20 minutes. I don't know, but you'll know it's dry when it goes absolutely flat and shiny and you can touch it. Now when that's dry, we get to varnish. So I'll leave that to dry and I will be back. I've been having a think. I think it'd be better if this is one that was glued and you can see it's shiny. It looks like the grooves are still there, but they're not. When you paint it, you will see. Hopefully that'll focus. I think it'd be better to show you the varnish on the plain one. So I will leave that one drying. I have two of them made. That one's dry. So I'm going to show you how I varnish. Or it's not, anyone can varnish. I'm going to show you the process behind the method to my madness. Give it a good shake. This is the last time I'm going to rave about this because I keep harping on about it. This is Little Fairs. They're a UK company. I'm not affiliated. I'm not advertising them. This is one of the best products I've ever had. This is why I'll endorse them. It's water-based varnish. Every single thing you use on this method of making furniture has to be water-based, and there's nothing else. Trust me. Oil-based anything, it won't stay strong. They'll fall apart eventually. It has to be all water-based, so everything soaks into that card and becomes part of it. This is non-yellowing. It's quick drying and it's matte. And most important of all, it's water-based. Water-based and non-yellowing when you're looking for a varnish. If I said glue, I'm sorry. I keep calling this glue and I don't know why. But definitely, if you can get this, all the better. But with the postage and everything else and Brexit, they are a UK company, so I don't know if you can get it in the States or other parts of Europe. But when you're looking for a varnish, non-yellowing and water-based. No, I've even put too much. I always do that. I put too much in. I'm going to use this brush. So use your old brushes, just as long as they're soft. Don't use your good watercolour brushes or your good paint brushes. I wanted to do it on the plain one because I'm going to hold it up close in a minute when I get around to the back of it. It literally eats this stuff up. Now, it will with the paper. It will with the paper on, but you just can't see it. That's the only reason I wanted to do it with a plain one. Get all your edges in, all your little nooks and crannies everywhere. Lash it on. And then you can go around later on and smooth it all down and take any streaks out of it. It actually doesn't streak. It really is. It's so good. Very rarely do I get streaks. Now I am going to put that on there and hold it up, and hopefully you can see in front of your eyes. It literally soaks in all around the edges now. It's soaking in. Fantastic. And that is going to make everything rock hard and hold everything together. This is why it's important always with this furniture. I'm going to get another brush. That one's too hard. I think they're all too hard. Yeah, it's very important. You varnish first. Follow my methods. There's a method to my madness. Go to the back. That brush is not great. I'll have to go looking for another brush now in a second for doing the painting. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to get another brush. They're dreadful. Yeah, found one. Definitely do not use your good brushes. Oh, that's better. Going on much smoother. A nice soft brush. Your dollar store brushes, as long as they're nice and soft, you're fine. You see that? Look, it's nearly dry already. I'm actually going to go over that again. That one coat will do it. But you take your time doing it, let it soak in and do it again. Kind of play around with it a little bit. That you know you have a generous amount soaked into it. And it makes all the difference. It really does. You at home will take your time. I would take a lot longer than this now when I'm doing my varnishing. Now it's summertime here. I do leave this for 10-15 minutes. I have my pokey tool here where's it gone? I have a little pokey tool and I get rid of all anything that's caught in between all the apertures. Now, in there is nearly dry already. Yeah, normally it's summertime, but I'm going to tell you now, leave it for about an hour. I do say 10-15 minutes, but I forget the time of year it is. Just leave it alone for about an hour. Let it dry in. In about maybe 20 minutes, that's going to be touch dry. And it is okay to give it a coat, but leave it a good hour and let it soak in more. And you've less chance of streaks then. Now this one here, I varnished a few hours ago. So I know it's good to go. You can see the sheen on it. Even though it's a matte finish, it has a slight sheen to it. And it lends itself perfect to miniature furniture. So I'll leave the... Oh, and another thing. I only have an inkjet printer. So when you varnish these, it darkens your paper a little. But I think it lends itself to a nice shabby chicy look. So I'm going to leave that to dry. And we'll go on with this. Very, very simple. I don't know what colour to go with for this now. We'll have a look and assess. I don't know what to do. I think we'll go with this one. Hopefully it'll go with it. Give it a good shaking. These are all sample pots that I buy in the DIY stores. Every time I see them, and if they're on offer, I grab loads of them. They last years. All you have to do is give it a good shake up. And you can mix and match them. Oh, I want to show you this. This is white water-based satin wood. it's just an idea for you if you're looking for ideas for your furniture. It's Aquamax, but don't mind the brand name. As long as it's water-based satinwood, you're fine. Maybe a smaller tin. That's the only size they had when I went. This is definitely going to go on for a long time, this tin. But just throw it into a little tub and with a lid, and you can use it. I got these on Amazon. I don't know how many. I think there was 50 or something in a pack. But yeah, what you can do then is you can mix and match your acrylic paints, even your watercolors. You can mix and match your own colors if you're trying to do a specific style or, you know, an effect. But it's really handy now, that water-based satinwood, and it really looks really well because after all it is designed for furniture. So I just thought I'd run that by you. What's this? Oh yeah, it's Grey Nuance, and it's not grey, it's a beautiful vintage green. I think it's very funny, some of the names. Now I am just going to give it one coat just to show you, and my whole thing for these tutorials are just to mainly to get the point across on how to make up the furniture in the files. I can't go too mad and too elaborate on different methods and different ways of painting up, because the videos will go on way too long. And I've mentioned it in a couple of videos. I am going to dedicate a couple of videos to doing different techniques and different paint techniques and some ideas I have. And I will do them very, very shortly. I have a lovely technique for doing leather effect, faux leather, and it lends itself well to, you know, the tops of little dressing tables and things, or chairs. Now if it's a case when after you paint your first coat on, you notice some of the grooves are still there, you can go over, when your first coat is dry, you can go over it again with the glue. Remember where we blobbed it on? If there's a part that's annoying you, or you feel it still looks, I mean, that's pretty good to me, because when the second coat and the varnish goes on, it's going to be perfect. But if it's a case that you missed out on a spot or whatever, you can, after this coat is dry, you can go in with the glue again, let that dry, and then do your second coat. It's not an issue at all. I'm trying to keep the paint as smooth as possible. The finish on this paint is lovely. I'll show it to you now in a second. And that's just the first coat, so we'll just leave that to dry. I'm not going to keep you on this. I went off camera, I know I did. I'm not going to keep you for another 10 hours dictating on what way you paint. This, now you've had your varnish on and your first coat of paint, you have to leave that overnight. You have to leave it for 24 hours. You need it to go hard and settled before you do your next coat. Otherwise you're going to be left with lumps and streaks, and it's not nice what happens. I don't have a piece here to show you. I wish I should have been more organised to have a piece to show you where I made a mistake in doing that. Leave it for 24 hours somewhere nice and warm and dry, and then you can do your second coat. This is that same paint. This is one coat of varnish and 2 coats of the green paint, and then a coat of varnish at the very, very end. And you can see the finish is lovely. That paint works a treat. As long as it's water-based, you're fine. So I hope now you get the gist. These furniture files are very, very simple. I know it looks very complicated, but it's not. And the layering up, trust me, once you get the bug, it's just so therapeutic. And once again, I don't mind at all. You can sell these wherever you like, online. I don't mind at all. And when you do make things up, please send me pictures. Let me know. Keep in touch with us on Facebook and show off your wares. I'd love to see what you do, because I know there are some pretty skilled artisans out there, and I would love to see what they do. So for now, I'm going to say one more thing. Jeannie Mac, I nearly forgot. Anytime I give you a backing paper, if you're going to use, if you're going to cut it out, you know, for this, you know, for your file to use on your furniture, this is a good quality copy paper I bought in Tesco's. You know, the cheapy copy paper that's almost see-through. I have nothing but issues with that on my Cricut and my Cameo. It rips the paper. So get yourself a nice, you know, quite a decent, not too expensive. This is 80 GSM, I think, 80 or 90. And I bought it in Tesco's, 200 pack. And I think it was called Snowy White something quality. I can't remember because I threw the wrapper out. I have it in a shelf. But definitely bear that in mind. This cuts lovely. And you have to have a good blade when you're cutting thinner paper. Well, that's my experience anyway. But again, it depends on your machine. So I just said I'd throw that little tip in just in case. So anyway, if you do buy my files, and please let me know how you get on. And I hope you really enjoy making up and the process of it all. And I'd love to see what people do. So for now, I'm going to say slán go fóill, and I'll talk to you on the next one.